Black History Month, I figure this is the perfect person to have a conversation about the legacy of this league and this country. A man whose name is literally in the rafters in Capital One Arena, Phil Chenier. First of all, brother, thank you for taking the time to spend time with me today.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me, Wes.
Of course, man. You're top of mind. First person I wanted to talk to, because obviously your legacy as a player and as a broadcaster and as a person spans so much time that you're the perfect person to really get an understanding about the history and the value of Black History Month. So let's go back in time, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Take me back to Phil Chenier, young player, culturally. What was the world like existing? And that smile on your face right there. Take me back, if you don't mind.
Well, that whole area kind of nurtured you to be politically aware of what was going on, whether you agreed with it or not, but you were conscious of what was going on. So I was always a part of things that were going on, social issues, and so that's kind of how I grew up back there. Come back to Baltimore, it's my first time away from home. You know, Baltimore is not as culturally advanced as probably we were in California. So I saw some really differences. I saw, you know, some really substandard living conditions. And, you know, you think about those things. And so all along, you're constantly growing and evolving and learning. And that's the one thing I always was really happy about basketball. It just introduced me to so many different things. So many people, obviously. You know, my contacts with people, you know, at Home Team Sports, Comcast, Monumental, with the team, the Bullets, the Wizards, and so forth. But also people in Baltimore. When we made the transition to the PG area, met people more so in D.C. And so you just constantly are evolving, meeting with people, understanding new lifestyles, and it's a great education.
Indeed. So with that in mind, I'm thinking about like the Venn diagram of cultural things that are happening at the time and in the world of basketball as a player. Were there any things that overlapped where some of the things that you felt and experienced outside of the arena were also inside of the arena? And if so, how did you
Well, Wes, I'll tell you what, the first thing that came to mind was when I got to Cal, and like I said, that second year they had the Black Student Union issue. And so football season had just ended. And so now they were getting into it. So they wanted all the black players to boycott playing basketball. So, A, this is my scholarship.
That part.
Yeah. B, it's what I love to do. It's
That
my
part.
release, you know. It's probably not going to happen, you know. And maybe I was thinking selfishly, and but there had to be other ways that we could do that. So that's the one thing where things cross. But I tell people, you know, I came in as a hardship case in '71. That was the first year the NBA allowed underclassmen. You had to wait till 4 years after your high school graduating class to become drafted, to be eligible for the draft,
even to be dealt.
for the NBA. ABA, that wasn't a problem. They were
I remember
drafting
that.
people left and right. Well, what was happening was the ABA was getting David Thompson, they were getting Julius Erving, Artis Gilmore, Dan Issel. They were getting these players before they left school.
Right, so you had to be able to compete.
You know, and the big thing obviously was Spencer Haywood had started his lawsuit. And that took about a year and a half, almost 2 years to settle. Well, at that point they realized they were going to lose that suit. So they said, you know what, we need to jump ahead of this. So they created this hardship thing. And so, so we came out a year early, and I came out a year early, got drafted, and everything really worked out well for me. Every generation is their duty, their responsibility to try to leave the game in better situation than it was when they came here. So that's the challenge, and that's the responsibility of each and every player that are playing, because you got a long slew. I mean, it goes back to, and I commend the league.
Yeah.
I commend the players of today. They gave us old guys a great insurance, health insurance package.
You deserve it.
That we needed.
You deserve it.
And a lot of guys are benefiting from that. It really made a difference. So those are the kind of things I'm talking about. You've got to pass it on. You've got to understand the history and reach on.